The night was calm as I embarked on my usual evening stroll through the familiar forest near my safe neighborhood. The moon cast a soft glow, and the chirping of crickets provided a soothing soundtrack to my solitary walk. Tired of the monotonous main route, I decided to venture into one of the forgotten, overgrown paths that branched off the main trail. The dense canopy of trees loomed overhead, casting eerie shadows on the narrow, winding path. The air felt cooler as I delved deeper into the uncharted territory. Twigs snapped under my feet, and leaves crunched with each step, creating an almost symphonic rhythm that echoed through the woods. After approximately 40 minutes of navigating through the labyrinthine trails, I stumbled upon a clearing that revealed an old, dilapidated cabin standing in isolation. It seemed to have been swallowed by time, abandoned and forgotten by the world. The cabin's windows were shattered, and the wooden panels bore the scars of years of neglect. No doors barred entry. It was as if nature itself had claimed the structure. Fueled by curiosity and a penchant for exploring abandoned places, I cautiously approached the cabin. My flashlight illuminated the decaying wood, revealing the haunting beauty of the forgotten architecture. I hesitated for a moment, taking in the eerie atmosphere before summoning the courage to step inside. The air inside the cabin was heavy with the scent of decay, and the creaking floorboards beneath my weight added to the sense of foreboding. My flashlight flickered as I moved through the dusty rooms, revealing remnants of a life once lived. Old furniture lay scattered, and tattered curtains swayed in the faint breeze that permeated the decaying structure. As I descended a rickety staircase into the dimly lit basement, my flashlight caught the glint of metal. Among the discarded remnants of forgotten possessions, I discovered a collection of knives. A shiver ran down my spine, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. Suddenly, hushed voices echoed through the darkness, sending a chill down my spine. Panic set in, and I quickly sought refuge in the shadows. I strained to hear the conversation, realizing that these were not the whispers of the wind, but the murmurs of human voices. Peering from my hiding spot, I observed a group of individuals, their faces obscured by the dim light, as they moved about the cabin. Relief washed over me as I realized they were not malevolent figures, but rather a band of trespassers, scavenging through the remnants of the forgotten place. They rifled through stolen goods, their voices a hushed symphony of excitement and conspiracy. Silently, I watched as they surveyed the cabin, unaware of my presence. After what felt like an eternity, the group eventually departed, leaving me alone in the haunting silence. As the sound of their footsteps faded into the distance, I took a moment to compose myself before daring to make my escape. I lingered in the shadows for what felt like an eternity, allowing the eerie quiet to settle once more before cautiously emerging from my hiding spot. My heart raced as I sprinted through the twisted forest, fear pushing me to move faster than ever before. The distant glow of my neighborhood lights grew closer with each step, providing a beacon of safety. Once I reached the familiar main trail, I didn't stop running until I reached the safety of my home. The door slammed shut behind me, and I locked it with trembling hands. Exhausted and shaken, I recounted the surreal events that had unfolded in the forgotten cabin. From that night forward, I vowed never to tread the old routes of the forest again. The allure of exploration had been replaced by a lingering sense of unease, and the memory of that abandoned cabin served as a chilling reminder that some secrets are better left undisturbed in the depths of the woods. In the heart of a quaint Irish village, nestled against the backdrop of a vast and mysterious forest, a sense of tranquility prevailed. Life in the village was simple, and for three adventurous 13-year-olds, including myself, the vast woods provided the perfect playground for our games. It was a chill summer night when the idea of playing hide and seek sparked our youthful enthusiasm. The clock struck 11 p.m., and the moon bathed the village in a soft glow as we ventured into the forest. The dense foliage created a natural labyrinth, making our game of hide and seek all the more thrilling. As the seeker, I stood alone for the obligatory 5 minutes, counting down in the quiet night. Eager to find my friends, I set off on my search, navigating through the familiar trees and bushes. 15 minutes passed, and to my surprise, I found no trace of my companions. Suspicion crept in, thinking they might be playing a prank or bending the rules. I decided to venture deeper into the forest against the agreed-upon boundaries. The woods grew denser, and the nocturnal sounds intensified, adding an eerie undertone to the adventure. Suddenly, a distant shot shattered the silence, echoing through the trees. Fear surged through me as I considered the possibilities. Was it hunters, or had something more sinister occurred? My instincts told me to turn back, but a mixture of curiosity and concern propelled me forward. Minutes later, the rhythmic pounding of footsteps reached my ears. A disheveled figure emerged from the shadows. It was one of my friends, panting and wide-eyed with terror. He recounted a chilling tale of hiding in a cabin we had often glimpsed from a distance but had never dared to approach. In the cabin, he claimed, a mysterious man had discovered him, his intentions unclear. The man's anger flared, and in a desperate bid to escape, my friend sprinted away. The man, now chasing him, fired a shot that missed its mark. Desperation filled the air as the man pleaded, "Don't run, I just want to talk." Without hesitation, we ran together, fueled by fear and adrenaline, until we reached the third member of our group, who anxiously awaited us near the forest entrance. Breathless and terrified, we explained the harrowing encounter, our collective decision to keep it a secret from our parents, fueled by the understanding that they would undoubtedly forbid us from venturing into the forest again. The forest, once a source of joy and adventure, now harbored a darker, more foreboding energy. We never played hide and seek there again, the memories of that summer night casting a long shadow over the once inviting woods. The cabin, once a distant curiosity, now stood as a silent witness to an encounter that would forever alter our perception of the serene forest that surrounded our peaceful village. The ominous tale began with a rumor whispered among friends about an abandoned camp deep within the heart of a dense forest. It was a story that piqued our curiosity, and with a mix of excitement and trepidation, 5 of us decided to venture into the unknown. The forest was merely 15 kilometers from our hometown, and the prospect of exploring an abandoned camp in the dead of night seemed like an adventure worth pursuing. As the clock struck midnight, we gathered in a car and set off on our eerie journey. The road leading to the camp was old and worn, creating an atmosphere of suspense as the shadows of the trees danced in the moonlight. We parked our car near the edge of the forest and embarked on foot, guided only by the dim glow of flashlights and the distant murmur of nocturnal creatures. An hour of walking brought us to the first checkpoint, a weathered building that appeared surprisingly intact. Temptation and youthful recklessness got the better of us, and we broke the silence of the night by shattering a window to gain entry. Inside, we discovered papers with the names of children who had once attended the camp. The air seemed to thicken with the weight of forgotten memories. Undeterred, we pressed on, reaching the heart of the camp where the cabins stood like silent sentinels of the past. Despite their age, the cabins were surprisingly well preserved, each one locked and seemingly untouched. However, our audacity led us to explore further, and in a few cabins, shattered glass presented an opportunity for us to delve into the mysterious interiors. As we roamed the cabins, our sense of unease heightened. Strange footsteps echoed around us, giving rise to the unsettling feeling that we were not alone. We called out, demanding to know who was there, but our inquiries were met with eerie silence. The forest seemed to absorb our voices, leaving us in a chilling void. Suddenly, shadows materialized into menacing figures. Masked men armed with guns emerged from the darkness. Fear gripped us as they demanded our belongings. In the face of the ominous strangers, we had no choice but to comply. With a sense of vulnerability, We watched as our possessions were seized by the masked intruders. Once the ordeal ended, we sprinted back towards the safety of our car, heartbeats pounding in our ears. A lingering suspicion cast its shadow. Did the friend who introduced us to the abandoned camp have a hand in orchestrating this sinister encounter? We never unraveled the mystery, haunted by the unanswered questions that lingered in the darkness. The abandoned camp, once an alluring mystery, became a symbol of caution and the unforeseen dangers that lurked in the shadows of our own curiosity. The forest, once a backdrop for adventure, now held the echoes of an unsettling night that forever altered our perception of the line between curiosity and peril.